In terms of, we talk a lot about post-digital world, we talk about a mobile-first world. Is StubHub a mobile-first company? Do you think of yourself as a mobile-first company, at least whether just sort of, parenthetically or actual behavior from your users?
Behavior from the users, most definitely, because we're seeing close to 50% of the transactions now occurring either with some mobile, as Mark was just saying, some mobile research going on, or actually going through the native app. The power users are using the native app right now to really embrace that content and make a transaction. But I'd say we're still catching up in terms of being mobile first. I think we've got some things to do there. Parag, who runs our mobile group, is actually making some great strides in bringing both iOS as well as Android to the fore. And then some content that I've actually brought to show you folks. We've got a brand new app in StubHub Music, so if you could cue that, that would be great. We're doing some very interesting things with this StubHub Music app.
Great.
So let me take you through this. South by Southwest, I saw a couple of slides up there. If you haven't been to this conference, it's amazing, and I think it continues to grow every year. Austin's a great place. Down there 2 weeks ago, we had a full slate of indie bands, up-and-coming bands playing at this wonderful venue, but it was really the coming out party for StubHub Music. You use the StubHub app to buy tickets. What we're doing with this music experience is we're actually partnered with both Spotify and Pandora. We're looking at your iTunes music library. We are preloading based on, obviously we get your permission to do this, but we are loading your libraries and your preferences based on what you listen to. So we look at that and say, hey, what is it that you'd like to see? Did you know that that band happens to be around the corner? Your indie music, Arctic Monkeys, right? They happen to be playing around the corner. Do you want to go see that band? We'll pop up the tickets to you. Or there are bands that are very similar to that. So it's a great music discovery app. And what we see, again, is that's not what people think of StubHub as. Let me take you to this next level. Those of you that are hardcore indie music fans, this was a great lineup. This place was packed. We had, I think 400 people or so in this venue, which was really tight, but with just phenomenal, phenomenal music. So allowing people to download this app, they were using it as well as the Showtime app, to understand what was going on around Austin, to sample this music, to figure out where they wanted to go during the day, come back and engage with the band. We did as well quite a bit of original content. Get this going forward, there we go. Interviewing the band, this managing editor that's come over from Time. We talked with a number of the bands, got some streaming video up. There was quite a bit of engagement. Now, what you don't see, and this is for us for next year, we don't have any advertising on this. So we need to take that next step and really embrace that. We had a couple of major brands that came to us, but it was too late in the mix. This just came together in a matter of weeks, and very much that startup mentality that the social commerce group comes into. Hey, can we get this up? Can we get it up and running? Can we engage fans? This thing took off. Maybe not quite like Meerkat for those of you that have been hearing about that, but this was definitely a great app for Austin, and now we're seeing usage go up dramatically.
And you'll be able to tie a lot of this into a lot of what you understand about your customers via the...
It's all about picking up preferences, right? It's only the company that I came from was all about recommendation engines. Our scientist is now over at Pandora recommending music over there. So I think you have to pick up the signals from what people are using either on the desktop, on mobile in the native app, on mobile web. You have to embrace people where they're used to going. Great to try and change them with new features, et cetera, but I think people are creatures of habit, so how do we get that content to them?
And do you see whether it's the difference in usage in terms of what they're doing? You don't see mobile web versus native app as zero-sum then, right? It's not going to be one or the other, and how do you choose where to make the investments as it relates to mobile app or mobile web and native app or versus...
It's interesting right now because I think we've got quite a few new engineers that have come on board and some new product managers on the native app side that are making some big strides. We see our power users of StubHub on the native apps themselves, and the conversion there is 2-3 times what we're seeing on mobile web. People will browse on mobile web and see what's going on from a StubHub perspective, but it's the folks standing right in front of the Yankee Stadium saying, hey, I want to go in. I'm going to buy it that last minute. This is a great place to do that, and they'll walk in with their phone and scan right through. So how can we make it easy for the native app users? Mobile web tends to be more research-based. People are still buying there, but not in droves. And then with regard to what's going on, they will do the research on the iPad. They will occasionally buy sitting on the couch on the iPad.
Yep.
But we want to connect with them wherever they are.
And I know it's a little bit early for you in terms of your role, but in terms of sort of driving app installs, sort of any early best practices as getting people to download the app is critically, strategically important for you. Any thoughts on best practices, what's working in regards to driving app installs?
So the Labs team with the StubHub Music app, that's part of what we were doing sitting out there at South by Southwest. We are doing some advertising right now, working with Apple because we were at a conference recently and a couple of the Apple guys came up. We've got a tie into Apple Pay. And of course, one of our product managers had pulled together a hack on the iWatch, right?
Yeah.
And so they loved it. So we're doing some interesting things with them. But I think we need to be out there more than we are right now, and there's budget going towards that to drive those downloads.
You have we'll pivot a little bit to data. You're an old data guy yourself, and we've been talking about data all day here. I guess the question, obviously, data is important. So maybe let me ask it this way: like, what do you want from a data or analytics perspective? Whether it's something you develop in house or in partnership with a vendor, what do you want that you don't have from a data and analytics perspective? What are you looking for as it relates to helping you understand your customers better, which then can help you maybe sell some targeted marketing solutions and just driving more commerce?
So like a number of companies that have come up through the valley, the data silos are all over the place. And candidly, I sat through a strategy session last week on just CRM. We've got multiple touch points on CRM, multiple systems. We're trying to pull it all together to understand. We have not, interestingly, StubHub, as you'd expect, has phenomenal data on pricing, what the market will bear. We're not using that right now. And one of the things I was talking to our president about is, this is an opportunity for us to embrace the teams and the venues, and we're doing some of that with that data. Hey, did you know that this band played in New York this week, and they're in Chicago next week, and then they're out in LA the week after that? Help that venue price, right? Help that band understand where the fans are engaging. We're collecting that data. We haven't been doing a very good job of making use of it. And I think, yes, we've got a data warehouse. Is it seamless? Absolutely not. So I think that is the opportunity for StubHub, outside of embracing mobile more, is using that data to get the right information in the hands of the consumer, but also how do we leverage that for advertisers? How do we make sure that Miller Coors wants to reach this electronic dance music audience, and how can I make sure that that happens down the funnel?
And is that something, just for some of the vendors out there, is that something you're looking to outsource that work to, do it in partnership, maybe do it mostly internally with your own sort of engineering and developers and things like that, or how do you think you'll execute on that?
I think it is in partnership. I think there was, for a while when I got to StubHub, there was a we can build it here, and I, again, having come out of the software industry, I'm like, there are packaged products that are breaking new ground in that area. Is this really what we want to focus on? So I think it's critical that you use best in class or emerging technologies